All right. Welcome to my monthly update of what I've been doing with the Billboard 500 with the Breakthrough program. So much knowledge, I don't even know where to begin. It's been a fun journey so far. A lot of information. My brain's on fire, but it's the only way, right? We got to keep growing, we got to keep learning. So this month, what really stood out to me was melodies. All the different ways that you can come up with a melody, create a melody, and how important melody is. Actually, the phrase is melody is king. How many times have you heard a song before you even hear the lyrics? As soon as you heard that melody, boom, you instantly can remember what song it is, possibly where you heard it first, and you start getting those feelings. So melody is king. So how to craft melodies. We learned a couple of different ways this month, and I'm going to share them with you. So first one is to take a microphone and to turn off your thinking, your brain, and just get into a creative flow. Whatever's coming to your mind, to your spirit, grab that microphone. You can have a beat in the background, you can have chords in the background. But the most important thing is to just let whatever's inside come out into this microphone. And then you can hear it and listen to it and then possibly adjust, modify it. You have an organic melody that came from within you, and it can be for either an instrument or the vocals, and it's pure, where it comes from you and you weren't thinking about crafting it, you weren't thinking about creating it. Actually, you were very much into the flow state where it naturally came out of you. Another method of creating melody is phonetic singing, where again, you grab the microphone and you have chord progression in the background, possibly a drum beat, bass line, something to get you going. And then instead of using full words, if you haven't written out the lyrics yet, you kind of mimic words using vowels and short 2-3 consonants put together, possibly small syllables, and you kind of mimic what it would be like while listening to this beat, what you would come up with, right? Like, and again, all this in flow state. You don't have to think too hard about it. Just spit it out, have it recorded, and then you can come back and you can modify it. I like this part, I don't like this part, this is a keeper, we're gonna throw this one out, possibly try to come up with something new here. So it gets the ball rolling. It's a really cool, creative way to get things started. Now, since melody is king, you always want to keep the listener engaged. And how do you do that? Is by switching up the melody every 8 bars. Say you first started once you got into the verse and you're using something syncopated. And then you use, say, you switch it up 8 bars later to something more legato, where completely different, but that engages the listener. They're like, oh wait, this was happening, ba 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 bam, and boom, it switched, and wow, this next part is really cool. So keep switching it up every 8 bars. Just a rule of thumb. It doesn't have to be exactly 8, but you get the idea. Keep the listener engaged. Another method to keep the listener engaged and to keep your song growing, because, you know, we all like that feeling where you start the song and by the end of the song has evolved, it's grown, it's captured you, it's kept you in, is by using the intervals. Say in the key of C, you're using the chords A, G, and F. And so the thirds of those would be C, A sharp, and G sharp. When you're playing the melody, every time you land on the chord, you want to also land on the third of that chord. Don't matter what you play before it, don't matter what you play after it, but what's very important is for you to land on the third of that chord every time you play that chord. And that way, there's this phenomenon that happens. And then so you start off, say, on the verse with the thirds, and then you want the song to keep growing, right? Then you implement the fifth on the choruses. So that's a little trick that we've learned and that I'm practicing when I'm creating songs, how to make the song evolve. Another technique is that tension in a song, that push and pull. You want to keep the listener engaged. So say the pre-chorus, right before it hits that chorus, you want to create some of that tension. So when you release that tension, the chorus feels so much bigger. One way to create some of that tension is to avoid playing the third. You can start off by playing the third in the verse, but you do not hit that third of those chords, or whatever chords you're playing in the pre-chorus, don't play the third. It creates that tension. Try it. Another technique that we've learned, and this is general knowledge, but just anchoring it in, is how you use your scales and what scales are you using to create your song. So we've been experimenting a little bit with the pentatonic major scale. Try it out, you'll see what I mean. A lot of songs nowadays are using that pentatonic major scale for the vocals. Another technique that's used is the call and response technique, where you'll be singing something and then the background vocal, gang vocal, group vocal, could be you, could be somebody else, but they're responding to what you're saying. It can even be the instruments, actually. It doesn't necessarily have to be vocals, but you'll go and you'll say something, ba-da-ba-ba, ba-da-ba, ba-ba-ba, ba-da-ba-ba, ba-da-ba-ba, ba-ba-ba. So it's like one is doing one thing and then the other one's coming in and answering it, and therefore you have that call and response type of feel, and it's very engaging in the song. It's not just kind of monotone and one person doing vocals and guitar. You're kind of mixing it up. Everybody is playing together and these parts are kind of interacting with each other. So the last technique that we started using this month, what we learned is how to implement AI to give you ideas. It's not about having AI make the song for you. That's not it at all. It's to use what AI can do to get creative ideas for yourself, and for then to take those ideas, possibly modify them, and start your own song. Because with AI, you can have so many song ideas generated in a single day that you might have not come up with. So you'll take that idea and you can, like, say a part of this melody, this hook here, the way this vocal run here, these notes here, and take all of the different ideas that you like and you Frankenstein a melody. You don't have to make it in one shot. You could be creative on how you make it. So be fresh, be bold, keep things interesting, and remember, melody is king.